What is up, Tenkin crew? The news cycle is absolutely wild right now, and we've got some huge updates that you absolutely cannot afford to miss. From gaming's most iconic franchises getting a fresh coat of paint to the cutting edge of portable tech, buckle up because we're diving deep into the stories that are shaking up the industry. Let's go. First up, we're talking about a legendary franchise that's making a triumphant return to multiple platforms with a stunning remaster. We're breaking down every explosive detail, from the incredible graphical upgrades to whether the core gameplay that made it a classic still holds up. Is this the definitive way to experience a true gaming icon? Next, we're shifting gears to the booming world of handheld gaming. Microsoft is making some bold statements about which portable devices are built to game with Xbox, but are their picks truly the best on the market? We're dissecting their strategy and pitting the latest contenders against each other to see where the real value lies. And that's not all. We've got early benchmark data for an upcoming handheld that promises killer performance and efficiency, but there's a catch that might have you thinking twice. Plus, we're diving into expert analysis that praises a major game remaster while pointing out a critical glitch in its highest performance mode. You do not want to miss this. Hit that like button, subscribe for more, and ring that notification bell so you're always in the know. A legendary shooter gets a second life. Remember 2006? It feels like a lifetime ago, especially as I recently celebrated my 43rd birthday. Yet, the game that defined a generation, Gears of War, feels like it's still in its teenage years. Now, an entirely new generation of players gets to experience the addictive, action reload-filled, jib-spewing, chainsaw-revving fun with a multi-platform remaster of the very first title in the iconic franchise. This is the Xbox Central Review for Gears of War, Reloaded. Gears of War holds a special place in the history of Xbox first-party titles. Originally developed by Epic Games as an Xbox 360 exclusive trilogy, Microsoft eventually acquired the intellectual property. They renamed their studio Black Tusk to the Coalition, and since then, we've seen 5 mainline installments and 2 spin-off titles emerge. Back during the Xbox One generation, Gears of War Ultimate Edition was released for Xbox consoles and PC. While it had its issues on PC, Microsoft decided it was time for another graphical overhaul. Gears of War Reloaded takes the original campaign and the full multiplayer experience, bringing it to PC in a much improved state and marking the series' first-ever release on PlayStation platforms. For clarity, Reloaded is simply Gears of War, no more, no less. Every bug, trick, and mechanic that players remember from the original feels faithfully recreated. The most significant difference is the stunning new coat of paint, which is occasionally breathtaking. I played the entirety of the game on an Xbox Series X for this review, while our editor-in-chief, John Clark, experienced it on both his PC and an Asus ROG Ally X across all platforms. The game ran beautifully, with no reported issues. Unfortunately, we were unable to test the multiplayer, as the queues to find a match with fellow reviewers never managed to fill up. Xbox customers who previously owned Gears of War Ultimate Edition should have received a complimentary code for this title, showcasing Microsoft's generosity towards its longtime community members. For those new to the franchise, whether on Xbox, PlayStation, or PC, Go W, Reloaded is available for $40 USD. While that price might seem steep for veteran players, it's a reasonable entry point for newcomers. The campaign, for the most part, still holds up remarkably well, with the exception of the recurring walk and talk segments. Every time Marcus Fenix and Dominic Santiago paused for exposition, I was reminded of my frustrations with the earlier entries. However, a welcome addition from newer franchise titles is the option to disable screen shake during the roadie run. This feature is a godsend for players sensitive to motion sickness, as the frantic charging animation, which involves holding A and hunching forward in a rather awkward posture, can be disorienting. Gears of War's narrative unfolds on the planet Sierra, 14 years after the catastrophic Emergence Day. On this day, a grotesque alien species known as the Locust Horde erupted from underground tunnel systems, unleashing widespread destruction and death. Players step into the boots of Marcus Fenix, a disgraced former soldier of the Coalition of Governments, COG. Rescued from a dilapidated prison by his friend Dom, Marcus embarks on a perilous journey across 5 chapters filled with intense combat and survival. The voice acting remains a strong point, with iconic performances from Marcus and Dom, as well as memorable contributions from characters like the Cole Train, Baird, and Anya Stroud. However, some of the supporting COG soldiers, stranded settlers, and other non-player characters don't quite hold up to modern standards, occasionally leading to cringeworthy dialogue for those unfamiliar with the original. The musical score, surprisingly, is more subdued in this installment compared to later entries, as the truly bombastic orchestral arrangements became a hallmark of Gears of War 2. Visually, the early daytime environments are depicted as drab, war-torn wastelands of browns and yellows. As the campaign progresses, players encounter more vibrant color palettes and eventually some breathtaking night vistas. The utilization of Unreal Engine 5 is evident, particularly in the massively improved lighting system. Night missions, especially those involving the krill, creatures that attack relentlessly in the dark, and the brief driving sequences are rendered with stunning visual fidelity. Reviewing a remaster presents a unique challenge, especially when this is the second graphical remaster of Gears of War. Gears of War Reloaded significantly surpasses the Ultimate Edition in terms of polish and performance. Microsoft's PC efforts were notably rough during that earlier release. The Coalition's expertise with Unreal Engine shines through, as the game performed exceptionally well on both Xbox and multiple PC configurations tested by John. He shared his experience. I played significant portions of the game on the ROG Ally X and found its performance remarkably stable, maintaining a locked 60 frames per second at 1080p, even in performance mode. This level of optimization is unsurprising, as Gears of War Reloaded is the first Ally-verified title from Xbox Game Studios, and it sets a positive precedent for future releases. It certainly bodes well for the upcoming launch of the ROG Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X on October 16th. In conclusion, Gears of War Reloaded is a solid graphical update to one of Xbox's most influential games. Despite its nearly 20-year age, some elements of its design show their years. Without substantial gameplay enhancements, the $40 price point might be a tough sell for dedicated Xbox fans. Fortunately, it's available as a free upgrade for owners of Go W Ultimate Edition and is a day-one release on Game Pass. For PlayStation and PC players new to the franchise, this classic remains an exceptionally worthwhile experience. Hold on tight, because the world of portable gaming is about to get even more interesting. Next, we're diving into Microsoft's strategy for handhelds and asking if they're overlooking some of the best options already available. Microsoft's handheld Xbox list, built to game but missing key players. The Asus ROG Ally is a reality, whether Microsoft explicitly acknowledges its original iteration or not. Microsoft is increasingly keen on branding devices as Xbox, and this extends to existing gaming handhelds. The company has even curated a short list of devices it believes will offer an experience comparable to the upcoming Asus ROG Xbox Ally, thanks to their specifications. However, this curated list seems to be deliberately overlooking a portable PC that many players would likely recommend. Microsoft's official Xbox on Handhelds page highlights features set to launch with the ROG Xbox Ally range. Crucially, it also spotlights portable PCs such as the MSI Claw 8 AI+, the recently released Lenovo Legion Go S, and the Asus ROG Ally X, designating them as built to game with Xbox. This implies that all these devices are slated to receive the same Windows 11 optimization benefits. While this is undoubtedly positive news for owners of these specific handhelds, it feels as though Microsoft is intentionally ignoring the original Asus ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go. Both of these devices remain available for purchase, and while waiting for a price drop might be advisable, they arguably offer better value on paper than the entry-level ROG Xbox Ally, primarily due to their superior Ryzen Z1 Extreme chipset. So, what's the reasoning behind this omission? Microsoft could cite specifications as a justification, arguing that the original ROG Ally is older than their featured picks. However, the Ryzen Z1 Extreme chipset actually delivers more processing power than the Ryzen Z2 found in the Legion Go S. Furthermore, the original ROG Ally boasts nearly identical specifications to the white ROG Xbox Ally. The primary distinctions between the two are the slightly less powerful APU in the latter and the ergonomic grip enhancements on its rear. If the new ROG Ally is priced significantly higher than its predecessor, promoting new features for the older model could create an unfavorable perception. This might be the underlying reason for its exclusion from Microsoft's official list. That being said, the absence of the original ROG Ally from the Xbox on Handheld's page doesn't automatically guarantee it will miss out on new Windows 11 features. It's highly probable that these optimizations will eventually be rolled out to any device capable of running the latest version of Microsoft's operating system, following the debut of the ROG Xbox Ally. However, should certain devices be excluded from these optimizations, it could pressure players into upgrading their current portables, regardless of their existing hardware capabilities. There are compelling reasons to consider the Asus ROG Xbox Ally X or its more affordable predecessor later this year. The ergonomic adjustments made to the Ally X promise a level of console-like comfort, perhaps rivaling the PlayStation Portal's DualSense integration. Features like its Windows Performance Fit indicator are designed to simplify the process of identifying compatible games, much like the Steam Deck OLED's functionality. Additionally, users will benefit from advanced shader delivery, a feature that preloads texture packs during game downloads to accelerate loading times. Microsoft is also developing its own automatic super resolution AI upscaling technology, which will leverage the handheld's neural processing unit, NPU. This latter feature is likely to be exclusive to devices equipped with Ryzen Z2 processors, as older Ryzen Z1 chips lack an NPU, a category that includes the current ROG Ally X, while it seems somewhat peculiar for Microsoft to market the ROG Ally X as built to game with Xbox, based on this NPU dependency. It could signal that other non-AI-related perks will indeed be available for a wider range of devices. Ultimately, we will have to wait and observe which ROG Xbox Ally features become available on other handhelds once the updates are officially released. This could be a key factor in helping the newer devices differentiate themselves from the competition. However, if all Windows 11 compatible devices end up receiving the same set of tools, it will become increasingly difficult to recommend Microsoft's cheaper Xbox handhelds unless the original ROG Ally is completely phased out of the market. This discussion about handhelds raises questions about performance and value. Next, we're examining early benchmark data for an upcoming handheld and a critical analysis of a major game Remaster's performance. Gears Reloaded masterpiece, but beware the 120 FPS glitch. Digital Foundry has released its analysis of the newly launched Gears of War, Reloaded across Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, PlayStation 5, and PC, and the verdict is overwhelmingly positive. The visual fidelity is described as great, performance is generally smooth, and even the Xbox Series S version receives multiple commendations in their video breakdown. Their conclusion highlights the remaster's quality. While I would have preferred a similar treatment for Gears 2 and 3, I can at least say this is still an excellent package, and one worth checking out whether you've played Gears 1 or not. However, the praise isn't without a caveat. When Digital Foundry discusses performance, they note that while the 60 FPS gameplay is consistently solid across all console platforms, including the Xbox Series S, the 120 FPS mode presents a different picture. This mode is described as quite variable, suggesting it's primarily intended for displays that support variable refresh rate, VRR. Intriguingly, the Xbox Series X version appears to outperform the PlayStation 5 version significantly in this 120 FPS mode. During our own review of Gears of War, Reloaded here at Xbox Central, we observed noticeable judder in the 120 FPS mode during campaign gameplay. Interestingly, this issue seemed absent in multiplayer matches. We theorized this might be because the campaign is officially advertised as supporting only 60 FPS, implying that 120 FPS might not even be an intended feature for this mode. This aligns with official statements, such as one from Xbox Wire. With stunning 4K resolution, assets, and textures, a 60 FPS campaign with lightning-fast load times and 120 FPS in multiplayer. Digital Foundry's investigation also identified this performance anomaly within the campaign, though they made no mention of multiplayer issues. This leads to the conclusion that either there's a bug requiring a fix, or the 120 FPS option for the campaign was included erroneously. Digital Foundry further elaborated on the VRR issue. Essentially, on Xbox, VRR does not currently behave correctly. It simply appears to use standard VSync as opposed to VRR, so you get judder when the frame rate is between 60 and 120. Clearly, this is unintended and it should be fixed, but it's something to note if you're jumping in at launch. Whatever the underlying cause, it's hoped that this performance hiccup will be addressed promptly. The rest of Digital Foundry's analysis delves into the visual enhancements made since the original Gears of War, noting that some community members have expressed dissatisfaction with the new rain effects, for instance. Nevertheless, Gears of War Reloaded is largely presented as an impressive release, marred only by a few minor imperfections, a testament to the Coalition's consistent quality. While a beloved classic gets a stunning update, the future of portable gaming is also being scrutinized. Now, let's look at the early performance data for an upcoming handheld and weigh its potential against its rumored price point. Asus ROG Ally X. Power efficiency impressive, but price tag raises eyebrows. The launch of the Asus ROG Ally X is fast approaching, slated for October 16th, positioning it as a direct competitor in the premium handheld gaming PC market. Early benchmark results, as highlighted by Windows Report and shared by benchmark analyst Carrie Gollum, offer a glimpse into its potential performance and efficiency. The data suggests the ROG Ally X excels in power management and thermal control, but the potential price point is a significant concern. In an early benchmark using Doom, The Dark Ages, the device, powered by AMD's Ryzen Z2 AI Extreme processor, demonstrated remarkable efficiency. Running at an 18 WTDP thermal power design, with FSR upscaling, ray tracing, and frame generation enabled, the handheld achieved approximately 70 frames per second during intensive sequences. Crucially, the GPU load remained high at 97%, while the system temperature stayed stable at a cool 57 degrees C. This efficiency, combined with the device's substantial 80 Wh battery, indicates that users can expect considerable battery life during on-the-go gaming sessions. The benchmark results were shared via X, with the accompanying text noting, "My YouTube video tomorrow." However, the benchmark also revealed a critical detail. Without frame generation, the frame rate in the same scene would likely drop to between 35 to 40 FPS. This performance level isn't a substantial leap from what could be achieved with the Z2 Extreme's predecessor, the Z1 Extreme. It remains unclear whether the specific Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor in the ROG Ally X will offer significant performance advantages over the standard Z2 Extreme. Based on early showcases, the performance uplift doesn't appear substantial enough to justify a premium price. It is important to reiterate that the official price for the ROG Ally X has not yet been confirmed and is expected to be announced in September when pre-orders commence. However, prevailing rumors and leaks strongly suggest a price point of €899, which translates to approximately $1,050 USD, or around £775 $600, potentially even higher. If these estimates hold true, the device's market success could be precarious. For comparison, the original ROG Ally is positioned as a more affordable, less powerful alternative, reportedly priced at €599, roughly $700 USD, or about £520 $1,070. However, its Ryzen Z2A processor, based on RDNA2 architecture, is unlikely to rival the performance of the Ryzen Z1 Extreme. Benchmarks comparing the Ryzen Z2 Extreme and the Ryzen Z1 Extreme suggest that the performance increase may not be significant enough to warrant a $1,000 investment. Competitors like the original Asus ROG Ally and the Lenovo Legion Go can often be found at considerably lower prices during sales events. As previously stated, the Lenovo Legion Go S, featuring the Z1 Extreme, is a particular point of interest due to its inclusion of 32 GB of RAM and an 8-inch screen, making it a compelling upgrade. Any other handheld currently on the market seems overpriced, and unfortunately, the ROG Ally X appears poised to join that list. We've covered a major game remaster and the latest in handheld tech. Now, let's quickly recap the biggest stories of the week before you go. And that's a wrap on another packed news cycle. We saw Gears of War Reloaded launch to critical acclaim, bringing a classic shooter to new platforms with stunning visuals. Microsoft is defining what it means to be built to game with Xbox on handhelds, but debates are already heating up about their curated list. Early benchmarks for the ROG Ally X show incredible efficiency, though its price is a major question mark, and Digital Foundry praised Gears Reloaded while flagging a 120 FPS glitch. Don't miss out on any of the actions. Smash that like button, subscribe to Tenken for all your gaming and tech updates, ring that notification bell, drop a comment below telling us what you think, and follow us on all our social channels.